Wildlife assemble! Gather the land and the animals. Compete with other animals to be the A-team of the animal kingdom in Biome Blitz.
And today we'll be teaching you how to play Biome Blitz, game designed by Matthew Souter and published by Barracuda Games. And check out the link to the project page in the video description below.
And hi everyone, it's Stella.
And Tarrant, welcome to Meeple University.
And hey, if you enjoyed this video after watching, like, subscribe, comments, you know what to do. Alright, now let's get to the classroom.
In Biome Blitz, players compete against each other to assemble the greatest team of animals in the wild. Turn by turn, players will forage for the best resources, spend them to gain the best animals, or fight to the top of the food chain by competing in contests against their opponent's animals. The first player to score 30 points, or to build and defend an animal team of 5 will win the game. To set up, lay out the board and give each player a score marker at 0. Shuffle and place the 3 decks, resources, animals and ecosystems, and deal a row of 3 cards face up beside each. Each player draws a starting hand of 4 resource cards from the top of the deck. Choose a first player and you're now ready to play. Biome Blitz is played in turns, starting from the first player and going clockwise around the table. On your turn, choose one of the 3 main actions: forage, discover, or compete, and resolve that action. Additionally, prior to your main action, you may take as many trade and explore optional actions as you wish. I'll cover the main actions first. The first main action is forage, and this is how you gain resource cards into your hand. When you take the action, gain 2 new cards. These can either come from the face-up market, in which case you replace immediately, or face down from the top of the deck. There is no maximum hand limit for resource cards. There are a total of 3 different types of resources in the game, and these are water, prey, and plants. The yellow card is a wild, and as part of any action, this can be spent as if it were plants, water, or prey. If you wish to pick up a wild from the face-up market as part of a forage action, then it must be your entire forage action. That is, you'll take only 1 card this turn. That means in that example, I've added the wild to my hand and I get no more cards. The same is not true if you get a wild card from face down on the deck. Here, if my first action were to draw this card, I would still get to take a second card, either face up or face down, but not the face up wild. If at any time the 3 face up resource cards match, then discard all of them and replenish before continuing. The second action is discover, and this allows you to gain either 1 animal card or 1 ecosystem card from the face-up display. Unlike the forage action, you cannot gain a face-down card from the top of either deck with this action. The cost to take this action is the resources shown in the top right corner of the card you're discovering. Suppose here I discover deciduous forest. This will cost me a plant and a water, which I spend from my hand like so, in this case with a plant and a wild. Discard the cards you spend to the resource discard pile. When you gain an ecosystem, replace it from the top of the deck and add it face up to your personal play area. This has no other immediate effect. You can hold at most 3 ecosystems, and if you ever gain a 4th, discard down to 3. When you discover an animal, immediately score the number of points printed in its top left corner. Then again add the animal face up to your personal area. If the card has an immediate discover ability, and that's an ability with this magnifying glass which includes the words "when this card is discovered," then resolve it now. In this case, you would gain all of the prey and water currently face up in the market. After resolving any such effect, refresh the animal display in the market. Any other type of effect is not resolved immediately. This will be some sort of ongoing benefit which applies to that animal. I'll explain the different types as we go along, but there's a couple we already know enough to explain. If you have a card with a Forage ability, represented by the cards icon, these are abilities which make all future Forage actions stronger. Also, be sure to carefully read any discovery effects represented by the magnifying glass. Some of these are abilities which make your future discover actions more powerful. Some of them are the immediate types applying only to the card you just discovered. Animals will also have one or more different ecosystem icons in their lower left corners, and these may match with the symbols on your ecosystem cards. The ecosystem cards have different special abilities on them, and that ability applies to any animal in your team which matches at least one of the ecosystem cards icons. In this case, both of my animals would get the benefit of this alpine tundra effect. The third action is compete, and when you compete, one of your animals is going to attack an animal from another player, hoping to earn you some points. Choose the animal who's going to compete and pay its compete cost in resources, shown here. In this case, I would pay 2 water. Now choose one animal belonging to any other player which you're going to compete against. Here, let's suppose I choose the Western Gull. Both players now roll a 6-sided die. The active player adds the result to the compete value. So here, 3 plus 3 is a value of 6. The defender adds their rolled result to their animal's defense value. So here it's 3 plus 1 is 4. If the active player's result is equal or higher, then the active player has won the contest. The defending animal is removed from the other player's team. The attacking player gains points equal to the defeated animal's points value. But do note that the defending player does not lose any of the points originally gained when the animal was discovered. The defending player does, however, lose access to that animal's abilities. Discard the defeated animal to the animal discard pile. If, on the other hand, the defender's result is higher, here the defender has 7 to 5, then the compete action fails, and the active player's turn ends. Other than having spent their turn and spent the resources to launch the action, there's no other consequence. The competing animal is not discarded, and the defending player does not gain any points. A lot of the animal and ecosystem abilities come into play during the compete action, and so I'll take you through another more complicated example which illustrates some of these abilities. These claws indicate that the ability in question applies when taking the compete action with that animal. So here I would have a compete strength of 3, but that would be increased to 4 if I'm targeting another mountain animal. My moose matches with my intertidal zone, so I also get its ability, which here is another compete strength for a total of 5 if I face a mountain animal. I also match with the xeric shrubland, which reduces my compete cost by 2 plants, therefore making this action free. My moose chooses a target, and cannot choose the giant squid because of this deep sea dweller ability. This is a prevention ability, as indicated by the no icon, meaning it's always in effect, and in this case the effect is you cannot compete against that animal unless the competing animal has an ocean ecosystem icon. So instead I attack the chameleon, whose base defense is 2. An ability with the shield icon is a defensive ability, so that comes into play when defending in a contest. Here it's +1 defense, so the defense goes up to 3. Finally, my chameleon's ecosystem icon does match with the ecosystem card I have. However, the ability on that ecosystem card is a compete ability, and since my chameleon is defending, not competing, this effect does not apply. The baseline values are 5 to 3, The dice are rolled. The final result is 9 to 7, and therefore the compete is a success, the chameleon is discarded, and this player gains 3 points. Through the process of the compete action, there are 2 other relevant types of animal effects. One which shows the bones is a defeat effect, and when this animal is defeated in a contest, that effect is resolved. The second is a die rolling effect. Here, if you ever roll the number shown, whether you are attacking or defending, you gain the effect. Prior to your main action, you may take any number of optional actions, and may take the same action multiple times. These are trade and explore. Trading gives you an open opportunity to exchange resource cards with other players. You can negotiate and come to any deals to exchange cards, whether in equal or unequal number. Only resources from hand may be traded. You cannot exchange animals or ecosystems. The other option is explore. If you don't like any one of the 3 face-up rows of cards, you can explore that deck. Discard 2 matching resources to discard and then replace 1 row of your choice. You may do this multiple times per turn or even per deck. Animals with explore effects, indicated by the compass icon, will make the exploring action cheaper or more powerful, while animals with the look ability give you the ability to always look at the top of one of the decks, often giving you a clue for whether you'll want to explore or not. Finally, there are also some animal abilities which activate at the start of every one of your turns, and in some rare cases there are symbiotic animals who have negative effects, and you can play them onto your opponent's animals. The game ends immediately when one of 2 things happens. Either when any player reaches or exceeds 30 points, or when any one player's team gains its 5th animal. Whichever player achieves one of these 2 feats wins the game immediately.
Thanks for watching, and if you like this video, maybe you'd like to watch this next one. Have a great day. Bye!